What's going on YouTube? Budget Mechanic here. Today we are working on a X5 diesel doing an EGR recall. So we're going to get started here. So far with this EGR, there is a 6mm here. There's 2 more down below you have to get out, and you have 2 T45s over here. I recommend using a long, deep T45, kind of like this one. So that way you can reach in there, especially on that bottom bolt. You do have to snake in between on the EGR, in between this vacuum assisted actuator, and well, to get to this bolt here. Makes it a lot easier when you do that. Do have 2 10s up top as well that connect over here to the intake. Go ahead and take those out as well. You're going to disconnect this vacuum line, and then I went ahead and disconnected the connect from the valve here, the solenoid there, and then I went ahead and took this guy off here, so that way it's out of my way.
On my timeline, saw your picture on my timeline. On my timeline.
So we got those 3 bolts out holding the cooler in place against the block. One thing I do want to correct myself with. It is still a total of 3 bolts. You have 1 up top, 1 down below over here, and 1 is actually underneath this motor here. He's going to sneak on through right here using a long hex 6mm so that we can get those out. Another thing I want to point out is with those 2 T45 bolts over there, they are copper bolts, so they're not magnetic, so you might want to use something probably like dum-dum from the window seals, so that way you can hold on to the bolt and it doesn't drop on the floor.
On my timeline. Saw your picture on my timeline. You were backlit by the sunshine. Couldn't text across the skyline. Undecided as I scroll by. Timeline. Over, wait for hours by my timeline.
Alright, now that we got that out, one thing I want to mention is there is this coolant line here. It does get in the way, so it's just a T30. It's bolted to the EGR cooler. If you take that bolt out, you can move this out the way enough to pull it out from here. And then for getting this out, just pull these AC lines back so that way you have enough room to squeeze it out. I am going to clean this off area. It looks like it might be possibly from the valve cover leaking, so we're going to go and clean that off. And then replace these little grommets here. These all get replaced. Make sure you take this guy out as well, so that way you could clean out. This goes to the intakes, and you want to make sure that's clean. We're going to replace all the gaskets as well. Now we got that piece that goes into the intake out. This is what it looks like. It's all covered in soot. I want to go and clean that off using brake clean, or my instance will use a parts washer. Another thing inside this intake that gets left behind is this O-ring. Make sure you go and take that out. You are going to replace these anyway, but make sure you take this out, because then you're not going to have a proper seal if you need it. Okay, now we got everything pretty much cleaned up. It's not going to be perfectly new, but we got majority of the soot off of it. One thing with this recall, it's a bit different than the one I've done in the past. This coolant hose that actually gets in the way, you do actually end up replacing it. So it goes all the way back here to the turbo, and then it connects down here with down over here with the T-pipe, connects to other coolant lines. So you want to go ahead and replace that line as well. So we got these new tubes in. I went ahead and put some Vaseline on them to help lubricate them so that way they go in smoother. These are just, they go into these little coolant passages down here. Did put the new O-ring on this guy and went ahead and put that in already. Again, I did put some Vaseline on it so that way it lubed up, makes it a bit easier to slide on in. Now we're going to get this new EGR coolant in first before you replace the line. And correction on the line, it's not actually a turbo line, it's actually to the secondary EGR, the low circuit EGR, which is located back here as well. So we should go ahead and get this new high side or high temperature EGR replaced. This kit did came with a new vacuum line, so we're going to replace. We went ahead and replaced that as well. Trimmed it to the right sides, and then we'll go ahead and put everything back together. we got everything back together with the EGR. Got the 2 bolts down here that hold it in place over here. Got the 3 bolts across here. Made sure those coolant line crossover pipes were lined up perfectly and didn't have any issues going back together. Place all the gaskets across, and then of course we replaced that O-ring. So now we're just gonna go and button everything back up, and then we'll go ahead and also fill up the cooling system afterwards. Alrighty, so now we finally got everything back together fully. All the body trim, cleaned off that def as much as I could. It's not, the rest of it won't come off right now. Went ahead and performed the vacuum fill and bleed with our system here. Gonna have to clean off the rest of this white residue from the def fluid. Gonna go top off the def fluid and then program in the new EGR to the vehicle.